Cockpit management. Yeah, you're going to have to learn how to manage your cock. Let's talk about it. Let's go! Boom! One of the things that's often overlooked when it comes for you having a very successful flight is having a very well organized cockpit management system. You need a system in place, something that you rely on each and every time, where it almost becomes where you're not even just thinking about it. It's just part of your mechanics of what you do when you're flying in the air. If you can do this, and if you can set up this system where it's routine each and every time, it's almost like brushing your teeth. You just walk in the bathroom and start brushing your teeth. You don't think about what you're doing. You don't think about putting the toothbrush in this hand, grabbing the toothpaste in this hand, and exactly what you're doing. You're just going through the motions. You're just doing it because you're familiar with doing it, like jumping in the car and wrapping and putting on your seatbelt. It just comes natural for you when you're grabbing the controls. You don't think about what you're doing because you've been doing it for so long. This is exactly how you want to get a lot of things to flow in your cockpit management system as you set it up so everything flows smooth. And it not only helps keep you safe, it keeps everything running smooth. Let's talk about 5 key areas that you want to focus on and that can really help you manage your cockpit. Let's talk about that thing. Boom! If you really want to understand the benefits of having great cockpit management, think about yourself at your crib, at your own house. You've been in situations where it's been pristine and nicely clean. Your closet was well organized. Your bedroom was nice and straight. Just think about how comfortable that made you feel. Just think about how easy it was for you to find things. Everything was put into its place. Everything was well organized. Your mind, it didn't feel cluttered. It felt clear and clean, all because your environment was clean and everything was put in its proper place. So when you needed something, you immediately know how to get it. That same principle applies to cockpit management and managing yourself in the cockpit of the aircraft. Knowing where everything is and having a system where you put everything, so therefore if you immediately have to reach for something or grab something, you know exactly where it is, versus it's just in random orders where one flight is here to your left, the next flight is to your right, the next flight is behind you. You don't want to get into those kind of situations where things are just randomly scattered all over the place and then you have to begin searching for something, because that can cause you problems along the way. And we're going to get into that thing about how you can be nice and smooth and have a great cockpit management. Let go! Boom! If you had to think about what are the top 5 things that can really help you have a strong sense of cockpit management, number 1 on that list will probably be some form of iPad mount or holder. However you decide to display your iPad, if you fly with your iPad and using apps like ForeFlight or any other thing, having a great place where that can be displayed where it doesn't obstruct any of the controls, that is very key. So you just don't want to grab something because it looks cool or because you set it up nice. Always make sure that after you have it set up, even before you even get to your run-up, while you're just sitting inside the aircraft, you're testing the controls to make sure that that mount or that holder is in its place and it's not obstructing any of the control surfaces. Because remember, flying the aircraft is always your top priority. The other cool stuff like the mounts and the holders and the yoke mounts and all kind of stuff, that comes later. So make sure that you have something that's great for you visibly, but at the same time doesn't obstruct anything that you need to do as a pilot. Personally, I like the iPad yoke mount. And the reason why I like the yoke mount is because instead of having the iPad on your lap or having it off to the side, it's right there in front of you where your eyes can be outside the aircraft, inside the aircraft, on the control surfaces, on the iPad. Everything is right in this little general area. You don't have to look off to the side. You definitely don't have to look down. I'm a strong advocate of not doing anything that makes you look down. It's bringing things that are down, bringing them towards you, and that way you don't never have to look down, because as you look down, you have a tendency, of course, to take your eyes off the horizon or take your eyes off your instruments or take your eyes off of everything else. So an iPad mount or holder being number 1 on the list can definitely help you function very well and have strong cockpit management. Hey, boom! Number 2 on the list, those will be some form of a knee board. Having that knee board and having it strapped to your leg, and also too, when you strap it to your leg, making sure again it's not being obstructed. When you can do full controls, left, right, ailerons, do everything that you need to do, and you're not obstructing and nothing is touching that knee board. You want to make sure you're in a good place there as well. But having that knee board there, particularly as it relates to anything that you may need to put on that knee board or place on that knee board, we're going to get into a few other things later, but that is very key as well. If you have that iPad mounted for all your digital assets, and then for anything that's more of the analog variety or the paper variety, you got your knee board there nice and ready, that is nice and fluid. You don't have just papers and documents and everything just floating around the aircraft. Everything is kind of in its place and it's in great view of you, and you never really have to reach very far for it. That's the key, and that's what you're looking for efficiency and being very well organized for strong cockpit management. Number 3. Hey, obvious, you need some form of notepad to be able to write things down. And then how you write things down and what you do with things, hey, it's personal preference and what you choose to do. Some people choose to write things on the scratch pad of their iPad. Others perform writing things down manually. I personally still like to write things down manually. I take that knee board and I put a small notepad on top of that, and then I have a writing utensil to be able to write things down as a nice alternative for me. Find a system that works for you. You're going to be given a lot of different information as a pilot. So the quicker that you can grab something and write the key information down, again, you should be writing down all clearances, all runway assignments, all that kind of stuff, just making a personal nice habit of that, because you never know when you may be in a situation where it's multiple runways, where everything is convoluted and you never want to forget anything. So how can you develop a system to quickly write everything down? My system I share with you, I have the knee board, and then I have a notepad right on top of that knee board, easy access and ready to go. And that brings us to number 4. You got to have a pen to write it down, but here's the key when it comes to pens. You want to have extra pens, not just one. A pen can easily slip and fall, get lost, slide in between the seats. You reach and grab it and it's fumble and stumble and it goes away. Next thing you know, now you had some unusual attitude trying to find a pen. All because of a small little pen. Here you are. And if you ever get into an unusual attitude and you want to get out of it, if you want key tips to do that, there's a video on this page. A link at the end of this video. Where them links be at? But this is why you always want to have extra pens. And having the type of pen that you have is very key here as well. They're the type of pens that have the top and the regular, you just pull the top off. Not very good, not very efficient. The ones that you just click, all you need is one hand. You don't need to pull anything and pull the top off and get it going. One hand, click, 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 click. And if it has a nice little clip on it, that's even better. So you can click to get it to work in and out. And then it has a clip on it. You can just take that clip and attach it right to your notepad on your knee board. So it's easy access to where you find, hey, I need to write something down. Still have your one hand under control. You can easily take one hand, boom, grab your pen and start writing. You don't have to fumble, you don't have to try and get a top. It seems insignificant, but that one little thing can help you prevent you from always having your hands on the controls at all times and never have to worry about pen. And then of course, having extra pens stashed away where you know where you can easily grab an extra one. For example, if you have that primary pen attached to that knee board and you pick it up and grab it and all of a sudden it fumbles and it slides between your seats and slides back in the back of the aircraft, you don't have to reach for it. You got a second pen right here, maybe stashed in between the seats. Grab it, you're ready to go, maybe clip to your shirt, whatever it may be. Always ready and always ready to go with extra pens, not just one, because that you don't want your flight to go into any kind of bad situation or awkward situation over a pen. Something that can be easily avoided just by having extras on hand and having them ready to go with the right kind of pens. Great cockpit management. Lego! Numero 5, and then number 5 on the list is always having your paper documents handy. This is very key. We live in a digital world and it's a beautiful thing, particularly with ForeFlight and a lot of different other apps that you can use where you always have your airport diagrams, you always have your sectional charts, everything at the ready. But one good thing that you always want to practice and have is have backup paper options, particularly as it pertains to your sectional charts, as it pertains to airport diagrams, and have them handy and ready for you. If you're in flight and your iPad dies, or the app starts to become glitchy, or it doesn't open, and you just landed at a major airport and you're trying to navigate your way around and you don't have the airport diagram, but if you had a paper copy of it right under your knee board, all you had to do was grab it. Boom, at the ready. Maybe you go your entire flight and you don't need it because you just pop up the airport diagram on your app and you're good. But if anything ever happens, you always have that paper backup. Same way with your sectional chart, the exact same thing. When you flying along, your sectional chart is open up to the section that you're going to be flying in, already ready to go. Paper, maybe you got it stashed right in between the seats. Maybe you go your entire flight, never have to use it. You just use the digital version. But if anything happens digitally, and now you're looking for some sort of sectional chart, you can easily just reach right between your seats. Boom, that paper sectional chart is already opened up to the exact same route that you were going to. always being prepared and having those paper options as backup can serve you very well, and it'd be a great way for you to practice cockpit management. Let go! Boom! And the bonus tip, of course, is doing the exact same thing with your paper checklist. And again, back to the idea of the original idea with the iPad yoke. The reason why I like it, because it's in eyesight and eye view. The same way with your checklist. When you have your checklist, bringing that checklist up to you instead of you looking down at the checklist. You look down at the checklist, you take your eyes off the horizon, you take your eyes off the controls. But if you keep your eyes up and you bring the paper checklist to you that maybe you have stashed underneath your kneeboard, then you bring it up to you. And hey, your eyes outside, your eyes on the checklist, your eyes out on the controls, your eyes on the checklist. Nice and easy. Small little things that can help you with cockpit management. And these are the top 5 tips to help you better manage your cockpit. Hey, don't forget to like this video, comment on this video, share this video, and subscribe to this channel. I am Donovan Batiste. Hey, this is Leadership Mindset. Big Whoa, a place where you can come for free and fun videos about everything that you need to know for you to become a pilot. Because I want you to feel what pilots all over the world feel when we swinging, hey, and banging that thing. Hey, let go. Subscribe to this channel. Love you one time.